Hey guys, happy Friday. I'm sorry again that I could not be here with you today. As you're working through the order of operations practice, please just let me know if there's anything you want me to go over in more detail, anything that's making you nervous. I'd be happy to do that when I return on Monday. You just got to let me know. Okay. Alrighty. So I'm going to go fairly quickly through the memory tool for order of operations. This is one of those things I'm sure you've seen a few times and are familiar with it. And if not, it will come back very quickly. Now, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally is that memory tool that a lot of us know. There is another one that some teachers have taught called it's GEMS, which I will refer to as well, just so you can refresh either or. So the first step in order of operations is to make sure you don't have any parentheses to take care of. If you do, this is absolutely your first step is to do the parentheses. You can also have brackets. And this is why some teachers use the G for grouping symbols, right? That's what parentheses and brackets do, is they group numbers together. Let me make sure you guys can hear me. I have a bad feeling that I'm not being, okay, good. Wrong volume. Okay, so, right, it doesn't have to be parentheses. As the older you get, the more you'll see brackets as well, grouping those numbers together. The E stands for exponents. And we also have a square root in there. A square root is the inverse of an exponent, therefore they're on the same row. So we're gonna do a few of those today. And I'll show you, there's some calculator tricks we need to know for that. Then there's multiply and divide. These are the kind of ones that are really familiar. Add and subtract. Now, something some people forget is when you have, see how this, they've got or, the word or in between those. This refers to the fact that multiplication and division are inverses of each other. Therefore, if you have multiplication and division in the same problem, you need to work from left to right. Okay, so what that means is if I had a problem that were 2 divided by 3 times 5, I am not going to do the multiplication first in this problem, even though that's the first letter that appears between the multiplying and dividing. Again, that's why the or is there. They really are on the same level. Therefore, I would divide first left to right, and then I would multiply. I've also seen some teachers write it like this. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, right? Like these are on the same level. Same with addition and subtraction. I'm going to give them kind of their own box too. Try and be separate here. There we go. Because same situation. If I have addition and subtraction only in the problem, I am going to go left to right. I'm not necessarily going to add first. That's not always the case. Okay. So let's put this into action, right? The first one we're going to do is 4 cubed minus 20 plus 16 divided by 9. So again, if I'm going to kind of just walk my way through it. In fact, if I had this drawn, I could even use it as a checklist. I do have parentheses. So I'm going to do those first. Get my mouse out of the way there. Okay. So something I would like you to do as you're working out these problems is use kind of almost a bracket, if you will, to show me what step you are doing. That's easier for me to see if there was a mistake or not. So I'm going to do parentheses first. 4 cubed minus, and I'm going to write dividing by 9, right? Literally everything else stays. You're doing one step at a time. And if you're doing it right, it's going to funnel and funnel and funnel into a smaller and smaller problem. So I've got 36. Okay. Next, in order of operations, exponents. And I do have that too. In fact, some of you may have never seen a cubed before or raised to the third power. So I'm going to show you some calculator tricks here. So remember, 4 cubed, old school. If you don't have a shortcut like this, you're going to do 4 times 4 times 4. That's what that means, right? 4 times itself 3 times. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and write 64 just to have it. And then I'll show you a shortcut. Oops. There we go. Now, if you have a calculator like this, there's a little button on here. It looks like an up arrow, and it's called a caret. That's its actual name. If you wanted to use this button, you would hit 4 raised to the 3rd power, enter. So with that button, really, I could even do like 4 to the 8th power if I wanted to, right? I don't have to do 4 over and over and over. I can use that shortcut. There are other shortcuts on the calculators. Like if you have a scientific, you might be looking for this button. It has like an X with a square filled in. That simply means you can take any number and raise it to that power. So again, I'm sorry, I'm not here to help you with your individual calculator setups, but I promise I will before you ever have to do this on a test, okay? If you can't figure it out on your calculator, go old school, 4 times 4 times 4. You won't see more exponents than this today. All right, so next I'm gonna do, I've got multiplying and dividing on the same row. So lucky I don't really have to make that kind of choice. I only have one division to deal with, and that's what I'm gonna do next. 64 minus 4. And then my last one, I'm not going to put the bracket because there's only one thing left to do, which is my subtraction. Now, again, if you need to do this every time, if that's helpful to you, please do it. That's why I show you things like that. All right, next example. 25 minus 2 to the 4th divided by 8 plus the square root of 4. It's so funny, I just told you won't have much more than 3, but my next example I even did that, the examples like 2 hours ago. That is so funny. So I promise you 4 is the highest you will see. Too funny, not like you trust me now or anything for sure. So, all right, let's think our way through this. I have exponents and square roots on the same level of my order of operations. Therefore, I need to work from left to right. So this is my furthest to the left of the 2. So I'm going to go ahead and do that first. 25 minus, put the divide by 8 plus the square root of 4. So again, I'm going to go 2 raised to the 4th, or 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, 4 times. I have 16. Fight the urge to do 16 divided by 8 because that's not what we do next. You have to do the square root of 4. So now there's another calculator shortcut. Now some of you know square roots. We're looking for a number times itself that gets 4. But I do want to show you how to do that. So above the caret, above my x squared, it's below the caret, I have a little square root symbol. To access that, I hit second squared, and then we put a 4 in there. Again, if your calculator is different than mine, please just hang tight, or maybe use the one on your computer in the apps of your Chromebook. That one does have a square root symbol, okay? So I'm gonna replace that with a 2 and rewrite everything else. Okay, next order of business is to divide. 25 minus 2 plus 2. So again, I'm not necessarily going to add first. No, because that would actually get the wrong answer. We have to work from left to right. 25 minus 2. 23 plus 2, back to 25. Which makes sense because -2 and +2 are inverses, right? If you would have added first, you would have had 4, 2 plus 2, and then 25 minus 4 is not 25, right? You have to make sure you're going left to right if you have those operations together, okay? I'm gonna do one more, and this time I'm gonna make it more of a 7th grade level problem. I'm going to add a fraction and some negatives in there. Let's do 2/3 divided by 1/2 times -1 minus 2. All right, so first order of business is parentheses. So I need to take -1 minus 2. Remember, if you are still struggling with that concept, we rewrote them to addition to try and make our lives easier. And we add the numbers, keep the sign. So I'm going to rewrite 2/3 divided by 1/2 times. And I'm going to put -3 in its place. Okay. All right, so here's a perfect example of, I've got multiply and divide in the same row, and that's all I have, right? So now I need to work left to right. So the first thing I'm going to do is divide. For dividing with fractions, keep, change, flip. We did that yesterday on our quiz. Keep the first, change the sign to times, and flip. Now I'm going to go ahead and do that. 4/3. That here. Perfect. Last but not least, I'm going to multiply 4/3 times -3. Put that over 1, right? If you wanted to cross cancel, there's your opportunity. 4 times -1 is -4 over 1, which I'm going to leave as just -4. Okay. Now I'm going to make sure that this gets onto our digital notebook. So you guys will have that to look at. Hopefully you guys do like a split screen situation if you're not copying these down exactly. But remember, that's why it is there, so you can use it. Please let me know again if you have any issues as you're working, any questions that come up, or what happens if. Those are like my absolute favorite. Okay. Hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. See you Monday.